Hello, welcome back to Blue Ink, where we explore potential, envision purpose, and execute with passion. The three things that we always come back to. My name is Johannes Mutzke, and I'm glad to be with you again. It's always great to do these videos because it gives me a chance to connect with you. Hopefully you feel like it's more personal, and hopefully you're able to give me feedback. I'd love to hear from you in terms of your comments. This is a video series that I'm really excited about, and it's the third video that I have done. And if you need to, or if you're coming here for the first time, go back to the first one because we won't be laying all the groundwork again, but continue building on the theme of a bridge for growth. We're using the bridge sort of as a visual. Just here behind me, and I'll just turn my back to you briefly and point. Here's the bridge for growth with vision on one side, action on the other. The supports being the work that needs to be done, the processes, the people underneath it, the organization that we plug in to get the work done. So I'm not going to repeat all of that, but go back to the other videos where I explain the framework and then I also give an example. Today I want to talk to you about the four primary dysfunctions, that I see in the Bridge for Growth. Now I'm sure there's more and I'd love to hear from you, but these are the four that I think really are deadly for the organization if they persist in the long run. But there are also those that come along, I think, in the natural course of any organization. And so, nothing's perfect. Everything has to be maintained. So this is a good primer for managers to be on the lookout for what's happening in the organization. How can they improve it? Where do they need to look out? Where are pitfalls? You can go sort of off of the deep end into one ditch or the other, and you always have to be on the lookout. So these are deadly if they continue unchecked, but they're normal things that happen in the course of every organization. Just like a person has a daily hygiene routine to cut fingernails, cut your hair, take a shower, an organization needs the same kind of thing. So let's jump in and let's highlight some of those. And I'd like to hear from you if you see any more or if these seem pertinent to you. So here we go. The first one you can tell here, it's sort of like a sagging bridge. And that's what I call it, sagging bridge or lack of structure. We'll just put that over here where you can see it. So it's here, the lacking structure. So this is when an organization has maybe just started out, doesn't have a lot of structure, hasn't put a lot of things in place, very busy, a lot of activity going on, can't build the structure. What happens? We start having issues with getting from vision to action, and this bridge is sagging, so there's a chance that we could fall through here somewhere and we can't deliver on our promises. Telltale signs of this are businesses that are just cranking it out but having problems delivering, having issues with their supply chain, having issues performing as they grow. They haven't created enough structure to support that kind of growth. The next one here is what I call the wall. Now, this is on the opposite side of the spectrum. These are businesses that I would say have too much structure. How did that happen? Typically older businesses, they've been in their business for a long time, they've been very successful, they've sort of become rigid because they've built their business model very sturdy around a core competence or about a core theme, something they've been very good at. What happens? The environment changes. They can't adjust. They don't have enough flexibility in the bridge for it to give, for it to reorient, for it to go a different way. They have to destroy a bunch of pylons for it to go in another direction. Too much structure leads to inflexibility, inability to respond. What's the fourth one? The fourth one, which I think is very dangerous also, and you have to guard against, is vision void. How does vision void happen? You have clear parts of the vision where it's been articulated or the company's done well, but then really has not filled in the gaps. We're not exactly sure how to execute. This is often a company that or an organization that's in a changing environment and they haven't really figured out how it works. What's the danger here? People in the organization say, well, the last thing that I remember that was stable was one of these pieces here, so I'll just hole up and stay there, and I'm not going to venture out because I don't see a clear vision for how we're going to get from one place to the other. So in the absence of any guidance, in the absence of any direction or clarity, the status quo becomes the safest place to be. Again, it leads to paralysis. It leads to the organization not growing and not being able to function properly because we don't know where we're headed, so we're going to stay where we are today. The last one, which you see a lot in especially corporations and in bigger companies also, where there's not strong leadership, where there's not a strong vision that's been articulated, I call silos or competing visions. What do you see here? This really doesn't even look like a bridge anymore. It's almost like a bunch of, 6 bridges or 7 bridges built all together. And, here's a department that's built their own vision of what success in the organization looks like. Here's another one that's built a different one. You take a step back from that, and you really don't have one organization that's rowing together and that's in sync. You have 7 different organizations that are somehow coexisting, competing for resources, pulling at each other. The company is 7 different visions, 6 different visions instead of one. Not a cohesive way forward. Often a sign that there's not strong leadership that says, here's where we're headed, we need to get in line, we're all going to pull in the same direction. We're not going to let different fiefdoms, different departments, different organizations pull the organization in one direction. We're in this together. Let's keep this a bridge that is flowing seamlessly from vision to action. Those are the 4 pitfalls quickly that I wanted to review with you. I'm very interested to see if you've A, experienced these, if you've seen any of these. I'm sure you have. B, if there's any more that you see. And then we'll talk in the future about how do you fix some of these, or I mentioned earlier hygiene. What's the process for us to make sure that we continually correct? Because these will happen. These will happen to your organization. No organization is immune, but be on the lookout for them because these are the traps that you can fall into on the bridge from vision to action. Look forward to hearing from you.